Alright, welcome to round 8 of the FRL Division 2 Championship. Here we are in Hungary for what is setting out to be a very exciting race, to say the least. We had a pretty close qualifying for the most part. No Limit is going to be starting first. Sebi joining him on the front row with Radioactive DK and Fred just behind, followed by the two Alfa Romeos, the Williams. We have Mercedes here in the 10th and 13th, and both Red Bulls and both Ferraris starting at the back. It is going to be a very interesting race that's going to play out before us. But first, let's take a look at the tire strategy here on the formation lap. Medium tire runners across the board, with a few exceptions, with soft runners being Sebi, Prid, and Jim Tonic, and one outlier with Inshallah starting on the hard tire. An interesting choice, but one thing's for sure, he's going to be struggling off the start, so you may see him lose a few positions. Sebi, clearly with his strategy, he's playing a very aggressive move here, and if that move is aggressive enough, I think he's going to be able to put himself in the lead going into turn 1. Meanwhile, I think he's going to try to fight his way past Radioactive and DK off the start and try to get into those podium spots, probably banking on an early safety car, and while considering how the race yesterday went down, that is very well possible. Yeah, Jim also going for an alternative strategy, as well as the AlphaTauri in front of him. Now, if anyone can make a comeback drive, it's Jim, as long as he doesn't lose the car. But Jim certainly has the capability to pull this off. And you can see Jim violently porpoising back there, as the 5 red lights are going to be coming on here in Hungary for the main race. And here we go, it's lights out and away we go. No Limit gets a good getaway, actually, quite good, but Fred is immediately fighting his way through, looking to maybe fight for third, going into turn 1. Sebi's actually going to send it, and he does get ahead. Fred looking for an opportunity, a whole slew of cars behind. Oh, and Fred has dropped all the way down. Meanwhile, are we really about to go 3 wide into turn 2? This is going to pan out well. Oh, and already we have a pile up there. It looks like Yeti may have been... No, he actually managed to avoid it, but Death Star Null could not. And he and Radioactive are going to lose a whole lot of time. Meanwhile, Sebi's making use of that soft tire to try and make a quick getaway. Prid is hunting after the two McLarens, taking advantage of that soft tire to try and fight past them. Meanwhile, Jim and Tonic, I said it before, if anyone can make a comeback drive, it's him. He's already up into 9th. Oh, and he's missing his front wing. Well, I said he can, not that he will. Oh, and losing that front wing is just cost him completely. He's going to drop all the way back down to the bottom. All that hard work has now just been rendered pointless, and I doubt he's very pleased about it, but still, he's going to pull off a move on Big Cheese, despite the missing front wing. But yeah, he's going to have to go into the pits. Oh, Big Cheese has damage as well. He's going to file in. Oh, but he crossed the line there for a moment. That's not good. He's struggling with this broken wing to get into the pits. That's our Nolan staying out, but Radioactive is going in. Meanwhile, Rich Sebi has already pulled well over a second to the cars behind. Yellow flag in Sector 1, and that's Yeti spun out, and that's... Is that just our null? Okay, no, he wasn't missing a front wing. Natkin certainly is, though, and that's going to cost him a whole lot of time and speed. Meanwhile, we have No Limit with DK and teammates stuck behind, and Frid just waiting for a chance to strike, using that soft tire to the fullest right now. Sebi as well, pulling a very nice gap at the moment, and is looking to extend it as long as possible. Now Jim, he's in a really bad spot, just down so heavily in terms of time. His only hope now is for another safety car to occur. Meanwhile, Savvy crosses the line, and he's actually losing a bit of time to no limit there. No limit actually put in the fastest lap of the race. DRS is now enabled, but it's not going to be available until the end of this lap, really. And that gets limps his way into the pits. Meanwhile, Death Star Noel maneuvers his way past Fred to take a hold of 13th place. Meanwhile, Kirito, he's actually on a really great run right now. Started all the way at the back, and he's already up to P9. He's now going to bump himself up to P17 now after Nakins goes into the pits. He's going to be all the way at the back now on the hard tire. Interesting choice. Meanwhile, you can see Kirito, he wants to make yet another move here. He's considering trying to make a dive here on Weltang. Yep, he's going to send it here going into this corner. The two leave each other just enough space, but Kirito, having a disadvantage on the exit, is forced to back out. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't just wait, because he's going to have DRS in just a moment. He may have been trying to make Weltang lose a bit of speed there so he could get a good run of DRS. And yeah, he's going to send it now. With the aid of DRS, he's going to be able to put himself alongside and actually ahead by the end of turn 1. And that was a nice move. Weltang, I think he had to correct his car there for a moment. Meanwhile, Sebi, after all that time gained, is now in very real danger getting overtaken. Has he burnt out his soft tires already? Because if so, this is a really bad spot for him. Sancho, though, has crashed. That is probably going to bring out the full safety car. Indeed it is. And that has just saved Sebi's life. I imagine he's quite grateful. He's probably going to... If I were him, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to go into the pits, because these softs are clearly not working, at least for long. Yep, and Semi's gonna make his way into the pit indeed. And a bad move. Fred doing the same. And I would say that's actually a good call. You know, if they really wanted to, they could go on a set of hards and potentially make it to the end on just that set. And it looks like that's the exact game plan from both Sebi and Fred. Not a bad call from either of them. Kirito taking this opportunity to go into the pits as well, having the exact same strategy as well as Trippy. Trippy didn't have much of a choice, though. He needed a new front wing. Jim, I bet, is very grateful for this safety car occurring, because now he's not going to have nearly as much of a gap compared to everybody else, and he can once again attempt a comeback drive. Yeah, it's going to take a bit for everybody to catch back up. Natkins is very far down right now. So it's going to be a bit before the safety car comes back in. But at the moment, it's shaping up to potentially be a McLaren 1-2. Well, as long as we're waiting for the safety car to end, might as well talk about a bit of real-life F1 news. At the moment, in terms of all the silly season driver transfers and all of that, Mick is probably going to be out of the Haas seat, and I think if he had to go anywhere, it's actually Williams. So, from what I've been hearing, the information I've been trying to gather, Gasly is going to go to Alpine, Colton Herta to AlphaTauri, Mick to Williams, Latifi out, Daniel Ricciardo out for a gap year, Piastri into McLaren, Zhou is probably going to stay on for another year, and in that other Haas seat is going to be Antonio Giovinazzi. Look, I like the guy, but I don't think he deserves a fourth year. He was unimpressive in his first 3 years. I don't think he... No. Meanwhile, we actually have Welting. Welting has gone into the pits for a set of hard tires. A bit of a strange choice, honestly. He was on the mediums. If I were him, I would have just stayed out and kept that track position. Unless he got wing damage. If he got wing damage, I mean, sure, fair enough. But otherwise, if I were him, I would have just stayed out and kept that track position. Because now he's all the way at the back. Actually, I only just now noticed this. Aston Martin is in a nice position at this track, once again like they were yesterday. 4th and 5th, respectively, for the two drivers. I think it's very well possible for one of them to end up on the podium. If they play their cards right, both. But to do that, they'll need to get past Beach White, DK, and No Limit, and that's going to be easier said than done. The two McLaren drivers looking good. Beach White seeming quite consistent around here, honestly. And there's the confirmation from race control. Safety car is going to be in this lap. We'll be able to get going once again. And we're already about a fifth of the way through the race, so we have plenty more left to go. So if No Limit is talking with his teammate right now, they coordinate it right, they can make a very easy getaway. And you can see No Limit's taking his time a little bit, and he's going to send it now. Actually, I think he may have potentially left his teammate a bit vulnerable. Meanwhile, we have the two Ferraris. Are they alongside one another? Yes, they are. Jib is already looking to send it past his teammate, and he's managed to succeed at that. And Trippy there getting a... Wow, that was... I'm going to be blunt, that was absolutely horrible. He tried to dive on the inside there for a move that wasn't going to happen, and he spun Kirito for that. I imagine Kirito is more than a little bit displeased with that, and he had to back out there. As a Red Bull of Agates completely lost it, Kirito had to avoid. That was really horrific luck for the Ferrari driver, but reacted very well to avoid that. Meanwhile, DK keeping in good close touch with his teammate, the two pulling away from the others just a little bit, and we have a Haas of Sebi going really wide there, kind of taking, and that's Night Marcher kind of shoving his way past Incella there. Sebi looking for an opportunity, couldn't make it stick. Meanwhile, Wolfgang maneuvers his way past Big Cheese to take a hold of 15th place. A bit of a battle going on here towards the back, so I imagine Big Cheese and Kirito want to move past us as soon as possible. Meanwhile, I think Sebi's close enough. Yes, he is on the inside of Incella, is going to be able to pull off the move to get ahead into 6th place, where there's a whole lot of cars coming up quickly behind. Meanwhile, Turby puts himself ahead of Big Cheese to take a hold of 15th place. Yep. Meanwhile, that's Arnold. He's getting really close to Inchala. He wants to make a move himself. Inchala is struggling, which makes sense because he's on the oldest, slowest set of tires. So he's definitely going to be struggling in comparison to the rest of the field. And still, if Inchala plays his cards right, he could be in for a pretty stellar result. No, flag in sector 2, that's Natkins completely off the track there. He's just struggling right now. Meanwhile, the two McLarens have made a good bit of a getaway before DRS is enabled. They've already gathered over a second, and that's going to keep them pretty safe out of DRS range, and that's going to allow them to safely hold on to that 1-2 they have at the moment. However, Selly, he's not going to have to pit again, but his tires are going to be much older by the end. He will want to find a way to get back some of these drivers soon. Meanwhile, we have Yeti going on the inside of Fred, having a lot of speed here. He's going to be able to put himself ahead. Jim, looking to get past Fred, manages to complete the move and now hunting after Fred. At the same time, Big Cheese makes a move on Trippy to get a hold of 15th place. Trippy looking to fight it back though, going into the next turn, but he can't, and Big Cheese puts himself ahead. Meanwhile, Sebi, taking advantage of Night Marcher's struggles, tries to put himself alongside and ahead, and he's still trying to keep himself alongside, but he simply can't pull it off. And now it's going to allow Inshallah to fight here and maybe put himself ahead. The two keeping alongside going into the next corner, but Sebi manages to hold on. Inshallah, though, looking to fight it here once again. He's putting himself a bit alongside, and he's going to send it into the corner, banging into Sebi. And now Inshalla's going to be looking around the outside, trying to find a way past the hats of Sebi, but he simply can't pull it off, but he bumps into Sebi. Oh, and he completely smashes into Jim. Jim has another broken front wing for an incident that is completely not his fault. And Night Marcher gets a 5-second penalty for severe collision. And while Jim is severely angry, he smashes into Inshallah out of sheer anger there, I think. Either that, or he just couldn't brake in time, but I don't know, that may have been intentional. If so, I wouldn't necessarily blame him, because Inshallah just was racing like a madman there for a moment. Still, this race is turning chaotic very quickly, just like yesterday. Now, meanwhile, the two McLarens, they made a very clear getaway. They're over 3 seconds ahead. This race is pretty much in the palm of their hands now. It would take a pretty massive screw-up to lose out on a 1-2, it's looking like right now. Kirito loses out on position, but I think he's got a bit of wing damage? Yes, he does, but so does his teammate. Kirito's going to choose to stay out. And I don't blame him because Jim's going in right now and he would get held up in the pit lane. But due to that, Fred is going to be able to fight him here. Actually, no, he won't because Kirito's got to run a DRS himself. Jim, though, is going to be more than a little bit displeased with events that occurred. And getting yet another front wing, he's going to have to go back out. I can only imagine the sheer frustration that he's experiencing right now. Hail Flag in Sector 2, Wonder Toes has crashed out of the session. That is going to trigger yet another full safety car. And suddenly when Jim seems due once again, he's now in a very good spot. Because he just pitted for hard tires, and I mean, I pitted at this in Division 3 and made it no problem. He can make it to the end no problem on this set. He just needs to not have his broken front wing again. It's a shame. It seems like Ferrari can't win in real life or in this league right now. Or at the very least, though, it's not due to poor strategy or reliability, and it's just horrible luck. Naggins gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Oh, I can't believe he got that. That's gonna cost him a lot of time. If he hasn't been left already, he will be. Oh, no limit chose to go in, his teammate staying out. I think that was a poor decision, unless DK just didn't want to get overtaken there. Yeah, I think that actually was the goal there. I think he just didn't want to get stuck, held up by his teammate there. Oh wait, no, it was a VSC. I thought it was a full. And in that case, the VSC is over, and we're gonna get back underway. That's unfortunate for Jim. I thought he was gonna be able to make up a lot of ground, but instead he's about to lose a little bit of it, perhaps. As Inshallah is gonna look for a move. Whoa, that was a little bit scary there. It's now going into turn one. Inshallah, Jim accidentally takes out his own teammate there. And Inshallah just bumps into Jim. What are these two doing right now? Oh, and that was Kirito, who nearly lost his car there for a moment. He got a big snap of oversteer, but managed to save the car. You can see Big Cheese right behind, looking to put himself alongside. Can't do it at the moment. He's going to have to stay back. Meanwhile, Snubby has so much more speed than Death Star Null. Thanks to the aid of DRS, he's going to be able to put himself ahead into fourth. Death Star Null breaking really late, nearly going to the back of him. At the same time, Radioactive makes a move on Weltang to take a hold of 7th place. Wonder Toast has disconnected from the session now. Nagkins has reset the track. That is going to be a 10-second time penalty after the race. This insult to injury. And actually, he still needs to serve his drive-through penalty. And if he doesn't do it soon, then he's going to get disqualified. Meanwhile, Yeti puts himself out of Baby Dwight. Is now in second. And Yeti has a ton of pace. You can see already he's gaining rapidly on DK. And while DK, I think he actually might get held up a little bit by Natkins, because Natkins is on the racing line and not moving. Oh, well, but there is Natkins now into the pit lane, but already Yeti's gaining rapidly on him, but did he get a snap of oversteer there? Because he lost a lot of time there now. Meanwhile, Jem, he's trying to make up for a bit of lost ground here, but he's going to be struggling to do that. I think he may be able to walk away with points because, well, all those medium runners will have to pit one more time, but meanwhile, Inshallah is looking to make a move. He's going to go on the inside of Jim. He's going to be able to nearly clear him. Jim doing his best to keep himself alongside, going to the corner. Inshallah forcing him very wide there. Inshallah's going to be able to complete the move. Meanwhile, Pred is gaining rapidly on Death Star Null, despite being on mediums. Well, actually, those... Well, no, Pred's on hards. Death Star Null is on mediums, and those mediums are definitely suffering right now. If he can just last about 2 more laps, then he can go in and go in for a set of hards and make it to the end. So at the moment, Sebi's looking at a very nice net lead, and actually doing him a whole lot of favors, especially if there is a late safety car. Meanwhile, Pred, with the aid of DRS, manages to put himself ahead of Death Star Null, and now into 5th place. Meanwhile, No Limit puts himself ahead of Welting. Hailfog in Sector 2, Trippy has crashed, and that's going to be another full safety car. Well, if there was time to go in for a set of hard tires, this is it. DK, Yeti, and Baby Dwight are all going to get pretty much free pit stops. Both Death Star Null and Fred. They can go in and get that set of hard tires and go on until the end, no problem. And unsurprisingly, DK, Getty, and Joy all go into the pit lane. I don't blame them for making that call whatsoever. That's the perfect opportunity. It's not going to get much better than that. And yeah, DK might well come out ahead in just third. No, he's going to come out just behind. No, he is going to be third. I think the limit may have backed off a little bit there to let him go. And that's going to put DK in a great position. Yeah, that McLaren 1-2 is now looking very nice on the cards. And Kirito gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he goes in to switch on for a set of hard tires, and he's going to go on to the end with that. But that 5-second penalty is going to hurt him going into the end. Jim, he's on 5-lap old hards. It's not the worst situation. And with the safety car coming to an end soon enough, he's going to be in a very nice spot to scrounge up some points. Wait, Fred is staying out? No, I disagree with that call. If I were him, I'd go into the pits. Because those mediums must be struggling, unless he's going to try and extend as long as possible and gamble on a set of softs at the end. I don't even know if that's actually the right call. Okay, yeah, he's going into the pits. That's a good call on him. And now he's going to be able to finish out. Welding is going into pits as well. Oh, and Frey gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Welding, what set of tires is he prepping? A set of hard tires going into... Wait. Why did he get... Okay, I can see a bit of a method to the madness, but I don't know if I fully agree with that decision. And I just got a hold of a little bit of information. I think Jim did go into the back of wind channel intentionally there. Clearly he is frustrated. I mean, again, like, he's honestly been kind of screwed over, so I don't blame him for being angry. But I don't think the stewards are gonna let him get away with that later. But here we go on the restart. Sevy's gonna immediately jump them. Fred is in a very dangerous spot here, because DK's coming up fast, as well as No Limit, weaving to warm up his tires. Jim already looking to fight for potentially 6th place. He's gonna make a double overtake in the turn 1, and he's gonna be able to put himself ahead of both of them. That was a brilliant move by Jim. Already hard racing off the start. Meanwhile, right behind, Baby Dwight and Radioactive are going wheel to wheel, keeping it close. Radioactive keeping himself alongside. The two nearly coming together. Now Welpdang is looking to get into this fight. What is happening right now? These drivers are showing no mercy. DK, he already got past Fred, and now he's on the hunt. After Sevy, I think DK could very well win this race. And Night Marcher gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Oh, it looks like something may have happened a little bit further back. Another yellow flag. It's Night Marcher slowing down. Neck is slowing down as well to let by the entire field. Meanwhile, there's been a major collision! Multiple cars are completely crashed! That's gonna bring out another safety car. Multiple cars were caught up in that, though. We have Radioactive, Death Star, Welding, and Shell, who's now out of the race. And Semi and Brent are both going into the pits now. Wait, do they have... They're probably another set of mediums. That's not a bad call at all. Oh, that's just unfortunate. Just after a safety car ended, we have yet another one. But I'm not surprised it triggered a full safety car because that was a massive pileup. And at the moment now that Inshell is out, I can only imagine Jim screaming karma louder than Fernando Alonso at Monza, so... yeah. And I'm just got a hold of a bit of information. I think Wolfgang may have rear wing damage. If so, I feel so bad. One thing's for sure, after Division 1 and this, I'm grateful I am no longer a steward, because I would not want to have to go through all of this. Oh, one thing is actually going to choose to go in. Um, he's getting a new set of tires as well as, I think, serving his penalty. But he's going to get held up by his teammate here. And actually, that's going to cost him track position to Night Marcher there. Unless, I actually think that... No, Night Marcher is loud. Never mind, he's good. One thing choosing to go on the soft tire. I really question that choice. Because there's no way the softs will make it to the end. Absolutely no way. So got a hold of a bit of information here. Apparently, according to the radio chatter Whelpdang, he's doing this just to vibe. At this point, I think he knows his race is over. So at this point, he's just gonna have some fun. Hopefully the fun won't involve wrecking half the field. I'd rather not see a round of bowling here in Hungary. We already saw that last year with Bottas. But I don't think Whelpdang would do that. Okay, we're going to have one more lap of safety car, and then we're going to be able to get back underway. Oh yeah, for a little bit of more information about silly season, as long as we're under a safety car, might as well. Herta has been doing tests under the FIA, and at the moment, someone did see the test, and they pretty much said, this is a pretty clear-cut decision. So, in other words, I think just by that, Herta will probably pass and be allowed to get a super license or be granted an exception, etc. You know what I'm getting at. I think Herta could actually be an AlphaTauri next season. And honestly, while I like Herta and he's really fast and it would be great to have him on the field, I don't know if having him and Tsunoda in the same team is a great idea. Because here's the thing, they're both young and they're both very fast, but they're also very volatile on the track specifically. I mean, we've seen Yuki make like disastrous mistakes this season. You know, hitting his teammate at Silverstone and just deleting his own car at Canada. And Herta, he's made some incredible drives, but he's also made a whole lot of mistakes. So it's gonna be interesting. And honestly, Herta hasn't been the greatest this season in IndyCar either, but he's had some standout moments here and there, I'd say. But here we go. Safety car is going to come in this lap. At the moment, we could be looking at a McLaren 1-2. Yeti might have something to say about that, as well as the two Ferraris, who are now 4th and 6th. Although I have a feeling Jim is going to get a nice hefty penalty for what happened. But here we go. DK is going to be leading them off the start, makes a nice getaway. No limit, going to keep up just fine. Meanwhile, I think we might see a little bit of a fight here. Sebi at 20 speed will be enough to overtake Big Cheese. Yes, it will going into turn 1. Sebi's going to be able to put himself ahead for a moment. And putting the pressure on Big Cheese, manages to complete the move. Meanwhile, Big Cheese puts himself ahead of Vivi Choi. He's now running in 5th place. That's a nice overtake by him. He's going to be able to push forward a little further. Well, actually, if no one technically, if no one reports the intel engine, you can get away with it. But you know, Big Cheese is going to give a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Oh, and speaking of Jim, there he goes, and he's missing his front wing again. This man can't catch a break. I have a feeling he may just retire in the pits by rage quitting. Meanwhile, we have Sebi and Fred taking advantage of these fresh mediums to try and make up a lot of lost ground if they do this right weight. Sebi was considering sending it on the inside of Fred there. He's looking for any chance he gets, and he's sensing one here down the straight. Yeah, he's definitely going to send it 100%. But he gets a 3-second time penalty, getting too overzealous for his own good. And I imagine Fred is quite happy to hear that one. Still, Sebi's going to send it regardless on Fred. And he's going to be able to complete the move. Fred, looking to put himself alongside as well, manages to do so. And now ahead of Fred. It's a nice move by Fred. The two medium runners really pushing their way through the field. Weltang putting himself ahead now of Radioactive. Well, the question I'm wondering is, if No Limit catches up to DK, are they going to play team orders, or are they going to be allowed to fight? Because if so, it will be interesting to see how these two battle. Jim now comes out of the pits on a set of all mediums, and he's going to be struggling towards the end. But he can make it on this set. The only hope now is yet another safety car to occur, which is possible. Actually, Sebi now putting himself ahead of Vivi White. He's continuing his charge towards the front, and he's really pushing right now. Oh, Prid and Biggie Schweiger going wheel to wheel here, but Prid has much more speed than him. Manages to put himself ahead now into 6th. sodium printer continuing their climb towards the front. Fred is now putting himself alongside Baby Dwight now, going into the next corner. It's going to be interesting to see how they take the chicane. Fred actually just completely backs out. Big Cheese looking for a chance. Oh! Big Cheese getting a snap of oversteer. Death Star not looking for a chance. He's going to have wing damage now. And he's going to be mildly upset about that one. Radioactive puts himself out of Big Cheese after that. Yellow flag in Sector 2. That is, I think, well, no, that's Natkins who is spun. And now his teammate is going to overtake him, despite having a broken front wing. And actually, having a broken front wing is not the worst thing, because he's got rear wing damage that almost would balance the car. Although at this point, he's basically driving a Formula 2 car with a more powerful engine. Meanwhile, Sevi, he's able to get ahead of Kirito now. Only a few cars between himself and a potential victory. But these mediums are definitely going to start to wear down. And it's around lap 9 where they start to show a little bit of struggle. So he's going to need to really put it in the pace and make these mediums count. Meanwhile, no one, he's actually caught up quite a bit to his teammate, and he's going to get a run of DRS. Are we going to see now a duel between the two Papaya cars? I think we just might here soon enough. And you can see no limit gaining here, but he looks to be conserving a bit of energy, but he's getting a little bit closer here. I do think we may see these two battle as Natkins crashes out of the session. That is going to pull out yet another full safety car. And you can absolutely bet that everybody's going to go in for a set of soft tires. This is just turned from a full race to a sprint. Actually, once again, Jim has been saved. Going on a set of softs, he's going to be able to have a pretty nice gap. Well, as long as we're here with another safety car, might as well talk about more F1 news. Rumors are with the Porsche Red Bull deal that it actually might fall through, and Red Bull is considering renewing their deal with Honda. And honestly, considering how successful that engine has been for him, I don't blame him. Especially since Porsche wants to take about, I think, a 50% stake in the team, or at the very least in the engine department. And they don't really want that. But if they want a 50% stake in the team, like that's not good. So I don't necessarily blame them, but that means Porsche could be out of an opportunity to join, which means they may try to look elsewhere. And by elsewhere, I mean they may be looking at a deal perhaps with McLaren or Williams. Speaking of other manufacturers, there are rumors that two other manufacturers are interested in joining. One based in the United States, the other based in South Korea. If I had to guess, those two are, for the US, either Chevy or Ford. I'm leaning towards Chevy, actually, and Hyundai. Now, I lean more towards Chevy because, as of recent years, they really tried to push more in a motorsport direction. You know, changing the Corvette, making themselves more prevalent in NASCAR and IndyCar. I do think this is them leaning more, and honestly, doing that with Formula One would be a great idea to reach kind of more of a global audience, as well as, well, we do have a certain team that's an IndyCar that is looking to be in Formula One that already works with Chevy. Hint, hint, it's Andretti. And well, getting a Chevrolet engine would be ideal. And honestly, if they do have Chevrolet backing, by the time of 2026, and they will be allowed to get on the grid by 2024, which is still their attempted start date. They still haven't been approved for some reason. Well, no, there is a reason. Again, it's because they can't get manufacturer backing, but if they have Chevrolet backing, then they can make it through no problem. As for other rumors, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard about Audi officially coming into Formula One in 2026 with the new engine regulations. And not too long after, Alfa Romeo is going to be leaving Sauber as its major title sponsor. For those who don't know, Alfa Romeo isn't the actual team. They don't actually do anything with the team. They're just an extreme title sponsor. The actual team itself is Sauber, which is a Swiss F1 team, where Kimi Raikkonen actually made his debut, along with multiple other fantastic drivers like Sergio Perez. At least I think Sergio Perez debuted in Sauber. I could be wrong. And Leclerc debuted at Sauber as well. That team has brought out a lot of good drivers, and Giovinazzi. Wait a second. I just realized. Did... Okay, DK, Sebi, Kirito, Parade, and Baby Dwight all chose to stay out? I only just now registered that. I really question that decision. Oh, well, actually, DK isn't in the worst spot because he's got a lot of traffic behind him. And well, we're going to have the safety car going for yet another lap, but honestly, I think a soft tire would have been a better choice. Oh, and Death Star, Noah, Wolfgang, and Jim are all heading in the way. I see what they're doing. They're just going in and getting fresher and fresher soft tires. I'll give them this. It's clever. Because now their tires are going to be as fresh as possible when they go out on the restart, which is actually going to be this lap. And once they do, it'll be lap 31. 4 laps left to go, which means only 2 laps of DRS for the final 2 laps. And at this point, there is going to be no more safety cars. It's too late into the race, so thankfully, we aren't going to get any more. I hope. One thing's for sure, after a pretty good qualifying, it's been a disappointing race for Aston Martin. Both cars out of the race. Mercedes and Red Bull have been struggling as well, and actually Mercedes won't be walking away with any points with Trivy out of the race, and Night Marcher a lap down. Well, yeah, a lap down. And there's the confirmation from race control. Safety car is going to be in this lap. So DK is going to be leading them off for one final time at this track, I hope. And he's going to have a decent advantage, but his tires, actually his tires are going to be fine. 70 tires are going to be right at the wear down point as well as Fred. But DK doesn't have the greatest getaway. Sebi is already coming up fast, and honestly, if he wants to make a move, this is probably his only real shot. So unless he wants to make it the same dive, and he's not going to. No limit though, he's going to send a dive on Baby Dwight and make the move up into 5th. A McLaren 1-2 may yet be on the cards. Not for long though, Sebi pulls ahead of DK, but Sebi still has that time penalty. Meanwhile, Yeti puts himself ahead of Vintage White on the hunt. Now these two could put themselves in a very good position here soon enough. But we still have a few laps of racing left to go. Anything can happen at this point. Literally anything. Wait, Kirito's been out for this long in the hards? Remember him? Oh! And Jim is out of the race. That's really unfortunate for him. He's completely done now. Oh, and Death Star Null has a broken front wing as well. Well, that just caps off the end to an absolute disaster of a race for Jim. Definitely a race he would want to forget. Fred actually slows down a little bit there and lets by his teammate. Playing a little bit of a team game there. Now, Fred, it would be in his best interest to try and hold out the rest of the field. Radioactive maneuvers his way past Baby White. Sebi now sits the fastest lap. Really trying to make a getaway here on DK. If he can pull enough of a gap, he can very well win. Because there isn't a ton of time remaining, it may have been the right call to stay out after all. But really it depends on how much time he can gain on the others. At the moment though, No Limit is stuck behind, can't find a way past Kirito just yet, but he's looking for a chance to strike. Well, at that moment, he just can't. You can see he's looking to find a way, and he's going to send it now, but once again, he's having to back out. And he knows he can't afford to get stuck behind, because the more he gets stuck behind, the more time he's going to lose, and the more that chance of victory slips away. You can see him looking for any chance to send it. Now he puts himself a little bit alongside, has to back out yet again. He's losing a ton of time here for it. And now he's going to look for yet another chance to overtake, but oh, he gets in trouble with Kirito there. And honestly, I think that move was a little bit too overzealous for his own good. Kirito now making the move back on Yeti, costing him a bit of time, but Yeti's going to be able to complete the move to bump up into third place. Now he's free to chase after the two front runners. But DK, he's losing a lot of time here. 270 and DK is going to fight tooth and nail to hold on to position. At this rate, Seti could very well win. It all depends on how these remaining 3 laps pan out. Meanwhile, we have a whole lot of cars battling here. No Limit, after that little skirmish there, he's lost a lot of time. He's going to try and find a way past these drivers. Meanwhile, Yeti, he's actually not getting much time at all. And Sebi's continuing to pull a gap here. If he just gets a half a second more, it'll be enough to take victory. Oh, but he runs really wide there. But I think that might have given him a bit of a hand, perhaps. He's now found another 10. All he needs is a couple more, 3 more tenths. And he can pull enough of a gap to take victory, but meanwhile, Yeti is coming up fast on DK. If he can make the overtake, Yeti can get close enough to get a victory of his own. Yeti puts in the fast lap of the race as he's chasing after DK. He wants this opportunity and he's considering sending it, but he simply can't find a way just yet. He's going to get another run of DRS to try and put himself alongside. He's going to send it on the inside going into the corner. Can he complete the move? The two collide! And that's going to cost them both a whole lot of time. DK nearly sending it into the side of Yeti there. But Yeti, that has actually just saved him, I think, unless he got damaged on the penultimate lap. But Yeti, he's not able to... Okay, now he's starting to put in a bit of time. He's now under that 3-second window that Sebi has due to that penalty. Yep, 3 seconds. Now, if Yeti can just keep within 3 seconds, he can take victory. Meanwhile, No Limit still looking to find a way to make a move, bumps into the back of Kirito. That's going to leave him vulnerable to getting overtaken by Radioactive. As he goes on the inside, No Limit gets overtaken. Now he's going to look for a chance to strike back on the outside. but he's going to get held up a little bit here. He's going to have to slot behind. Once again, looking for a chance on the inside. He's trying to put himself alongside, manages to do so now, and with the aid of DRS, the two nearly coming together for a moment. Still keeping it exactly alongside. Radioactive actually getting a little bit ahead by the end of turn 1. That's going to give Radioactive a better run on the exit, though No Limit is keeping alongside due to his fresher tires. And he's going to be able to finally put himself ahead. Meanwhile, Yeti, he's gaining a lot of time here. He's now almost under 2 seconds. And getting past DK has really saved him there. If he got held up for another lap by DK, that would have spelled the end. He knew he had to make that move. It was a now or never moment, and he made it happen. You can see how desperate No Limit is to get past Kirito. Kirito is proving to be an absolute wall right now. No Limit nearly going to the back of him yet again. Cutting it really close there. Meanwhile, after a whole lot of turmoil and a whole lot of struggle, Sebi unfortunately will have to settle for the second step of the podium as Yeti crosses the line to take victory here at Hungary. Sebi second, DK third, Frid fourth, No Limit fifth, Baby Dwight sixth, Radioactive seventh, Kirito after the penalties is going to be eighth, Fred ninth in the points, and that's Welpdang just crossing the line to be able to get the final points finish. And last but not least, we have Dexter Null and Big Cheese crossing the line to finish out the end of this race. And that is going to be the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix. And getting back to the day is actually going to be Welpdang, managing to get a good points finish after struggling so far at the back. He just kept it clean enough to get that 1 point he needed. And once again, we have a very familiar sight. An Alpine driver walking up to the top step of the podium. Once again, just increasing their lead in the combined championship. At this point, it's pretty much all but won, unless all their drivers DNF every race in the second half. I mean, I hope that doesn't happen. That would be absolutely horrific luck. Speaking of the second half, it's shaping out to be very, very exciting. And that's going to be the end of the race. Yeti's going to take a very brilliant victory. Sebi, unfortunately, is going to have to settle for second. Though it's going to be looking for another chance to strike at the next race. DK taking his first podium in a while. Parade fourth and No Limit fifth. McLaren Alpine bringing home plenty of points today. And even Avatar bringing home some points as well. The other teams struggled a little bit more in that regard, but I'd say that was a pretty exciting race. We'll be seeing you all as we go into the halfway point of the season, as we head to the streets of Baku, Azerbaijan, for a sprint race. I've been Mock Mage, and I'll be seeing you all next time.